It was a very good Raw. Of course not as good as the 2 past weeks of Raw, but it will naturally stale in comparison when you have a Raw from Madison Square Garden followed by the 3-hour Raw from last week. But still, it was a very good regular 2-hour Raw in my opinion. Verne Troyer didn't get that much exposure. He wasn't really involved in the main card. He was involved with The Miz wrestling Mark Henry, with Mark Henry winning that match in a non-title match, and we can only assume that we will see at the upcoming TLC pay-per-view maybe Mark Henry getting a title shot for the United States Championship against The Miz. I thought it was going to be Jack Swagger getting that title shot, but apparently WWE thought otherwise, and I have heard that they have somewhat given up on Swagger's current push, and he will not be de-pushed. But he wasn't on Raw this night, and he apparently will not get a push as of right now. I don't think they simply believe in him as of now as a title contender. We will see what they have in store for him in the future. This Raw, I thought we were going to see the Little Man's Court, but apparently not. DX thought it was all a dream and decided to not show up. Hornswoggle showed up instead and told them that he was sick and tired of them neglecting him and simply not taking him seriously. I think WWE still, if this wasn't as good as the 2 past weeks of Raw, I think just like what they did with the Piggy James video on SmackDown, we have to know that this is a kids show first. We have to judge it from there, and all this rambling and crying over it not being TV-14 is getting very stale right now, and if you think the product of WWE is stale, simply don't watch. So with that in mind, you can't judge the color of red for its attribute to be green because it's red, and Raw right now is a PG show, somewhat turning PG-13 slowly, as we've been talking about earlier, simply because of the fact that they have more lengthy storylines. They are not giving it all away on the instant all the time. We have seen Kofi versus Randy for quite some time. Very, very well built feud. Tonight they were supposed to wrestle, but Cody came in, attacked from behind. Then when we thought Orton was going to come out, they have gotten Rhodes out of there. Teddy DiBiase came in and continued the assault, and then Randy Orton just arrived to pick the bones and pin Kofi just that easy. So their feud isn't over, it isn't settled. And just as the Mark Henry Miz feud, I believe we will see a match at TLC, and that's the only proper way to do it, because that's every way I see it, it's a pay-per-view caliber match. So simply, I like WWE putting the effort in. Maybe you didn't like Mark Henry singing, and I mean Mark Henry himself, he knows he can't rap, but he decided to have some fun. He rapped, it was kind of fun, he got the crowd going. The crowd really isn't behind MVP right now, you can hear it, the responses he gets and that he has gotten over the last couple of months has been really poor. But still, they got the crowd going, and they had some fun. Mark Henry won the match, as I said, and also with the Piggy James video. One can think it was childish, one doesn't have to love it, but that doesn't mean you have to hate it. At least WWE is putting some effort into it. They are trying, they are doing stuff, they are not just doing it the easy way. Okay, it's Mark Henry versus The Miz, oh well, that's the match, let them come in, let them do the match, pinfall, and then it's over. They put some effort into it. Just, I thought it was very funny with the Hornswoggle translation that they put up. Original, I haven't done that before, at least not to my recollection, and so they're trying, they're doing something different. They are not just doing the segments one by one without putting any effort into them. So that's a very good sign. And as I said, the Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton feud, and the way they have built it up, and the way that the Raws recently have been very unpredictable. It's kind of, I mean, you can see Mark Henry coming out and singing. You really couldn't see, I didn't see Cody Rhodes coming out, and then after Cody Rhodes had been out, well, now Orton's gonna come. Now then came Teddy DiBiase, and they are kind of milking it, making you wait for the match. And I can tell you, when Randy Orton finally will face Kofi Kingston one-on-one, mano-a-mano, it's gonna be great. I'm really looking forward for that match, and as I said, it's a pay-per-view caliber match. So WWE trying, not being lazy, and simply making the Raw and SmackDown to some extent, especially Raw, has really become a lot better recently. They try. It's very unpredictable. You really don't know exactly what's gonna happen. And the final segment of the show and the final match, Chris Jericho versus Triple H, a very, very good match. We have seen that a lot of times in the past, but this was a very good match. Very good to have both Shawn Michaels and Big Show on the commentary. Big Show did very good as a commentator, I believe. He actually praised Triple H in the ring. He praised Chris Jericho, but of course he was going to side with Chris Jericho because they were the tag team champions and Jericho was his partner. Very good commentating by the Big Show in this very match. And again, Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton. I don't know how long they've been feuding. It's gotta be since, well, it's since bragging rights. So they have built this one match for 2 months. And to see something like this nowadays, it's very, very rare. Still, they have done it in a very good way. They haven't... This is a good sign, as I said, as the WWE raising the bar on the rating, because if it had been a kids show, they would have had that match a long time ago. But no, instead, they are, as I said, they are hyping it. They are putting more... They are intensifying the match, and they are putting more emotion into it. So that's a very good thing, as I said, and it's a continuous feud. You don't have... I thought that if you back the tape, perhaps 6 months, a year, something like that, very often you would watch a Raw, and when that Raw was over, that was over, and the next week it will be something completely new, and when that show was over, it would be something completely new. They really didn't have that. It wasn't a, you could call it perhaps lineage. You couldn't follow the show from week to week to week and really look forward. Wow, it's going to happen this week because last week they did this and this. Now it's going to happen this week. You simply don't know. Same thing with the DX versus Hornswoggle feud. You might not like it, but so what? You can like everything, and it's wrestling. It's wrestling. It's entertainment first and foremost, and that's the way it's always going to be. And if you don't like Hornswoggle, simply don't look at him or put the TV on mute or fast forward if you're downloading it. So what's the big deal? If that's your biggest problem in your life, you really don't have that much of a problem, I believe, because there are people facing unemployment right now, people living in poverty and all such things. So disliking Hornswoggle, not standing him on television, is pretty minor. However, they are milking it with what we're going to see Verne Troyer being the judge in that court and defending Hornswoggle, but no, they milked it away, and going to perhaps milk it for a few more weeks. And of course that's going to piss a lot of people off that doesn't have a life, doesn't have real problems. And I don't have a life either, because if I had, I wouldn't make these videos. So now we got that off our backs as well. So that puts us one more feud that's building up really well now. Right now is John Cena versus Sheamus. Sheamus, he is really good. When I watched him in the ring attacking and beating Santino Marella this week on Raw, I thought of Randy Orton. No, Sheamus is nowhere close to Randy Orton yet. He hasn't really proved anything yet. Well, he has proved a lot, but he hasn't proved as much as Orton in no way whatsoever. But he's very methodical. He's slow-paced. He takes his time. He doesn't stress the body. He just takes his time. He doesn't care about the crowd. He doesn't pander to the crowd. Hey, look at me, boo me, come on. He does his thing, and eventually people are gonna boo him more and more and more, and that's what happened tonight. People cared. People chanted for Cena. Of course, the problem with someone facing Cena is that just for their antipathy towards Cena, they're going to side with Sheamus or whomever Cena wrestles. But still, there were chants for Cena. People booed Sheamus, who looked very, very intense, and there's so much emotions into it. And I really liked the Cena we saw this week. He can be fun-loving and all that, but he was very serious. He wasn't kidding. He was pissed off. He was angry. Sheamus had really gotten to Cena, and I think that's what a lot of people get pissed off about Cena, because every week Cena gets a week where he gets beat up. The next week he returns, he's all happy and smiles again. But this week he was serious. He felt threatened, and I think that's good, and I think people will appreciate someone getting to Cena like Sheamus did. And there was so much emotion when Sheamus came out later in the night. Carlito, by the way, very good promo by him. He backed out of the match, got attacked. Didn't really take that much toll on his career because he didn't get pinned. It wasn't a match. He didn't submit. He didn't even tap or anything. So he just got beat up, and he hasn't been on Raw recently. So him getting TV time is nothing but good. And once again, a very good promo by Carlito. So the emotion definitely is there between Cena and Sheamus. A very good match, at least the way they build it. And I'm really looking forward for this, and this is one of the things I believe people will tune in to Raw to look for. They will tune into Raw to look for John Cena versus Sheamus and their feud, and Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton right now. This is two newcomers, two up-and-comers, and it's two hot potatoes, to say the very least. Thank you for watching, and once again, have a nice day.